Hello everyone and welcome back to your Element 3 Health Sewing Club. My name is Andrea and I am here today to show you how to sew a basic fabric envelope with a rear slip pocket and a flap closure. If you have had a chance to familiarize yourself with the club schedule, we begin the week with a basic project, and then as a group we co-design an improved project, which I will then demonstrate how to sew on Thursday. So you're going to want to make sure to watch this tutorial and then cast your vote on the community poll, which is posted on Wednesday, and then sign up to join us for that live sewing/design session on Thursday. And then of course we'll wrap up the week on Friday with our show and tell, which is your opportunity to present your finished projects. So for this basic fabric envelope, you're going to have 4 body panels which measure 8.5 inches wide by 11 inches tall. The 2 exterior panels will be backed with an interfacing such as Pellon 808 or Pellon 809. I selected an iron-on version for mine, and so I have those prepared. The interior body panels are the same 8.5 by 11, and they are unlined, no interfacing. And so we're going to begin with those interior panels, which are going to position right sides facing, and you will stitch down the 2 long edges and across the base using 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. And that's what that looks like. And then because this is the interior, you just simply fold over that top edge approximately an inch, and then you can press that flat and set this aside. Then we are going to work on the exterior pocket, which is crafted from 2 pieces of cotton material which measure 9 inches tall by 8.5 inches wide. And with each of those, you're going to take that top edge and press it over 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. And then you will layer that fabric with the wrong sides facing. And to create my pockets, I like to stagger that fabric slightly to create this little lip there. And so once you have that in place, go ahead and stitch right across that bottom edge of the lip to create the pocket. I do come back in and add 1 more layer of stitching just to create a really nice finished look. And that's what it looks like with just 1 row of stitching. Then I've just bumped down slightly and add that 2nd row of stitching, which is purely for detail. And you can see how that finishes that pocket really nice. Then you're going to take that pocket and position that on top of one of those exterior layers, which has the Pellon on that. And that's what that pocket looks like in place. So you're just aligning the sides and the base, and then the finished part, which we stitched, is right up there towards the top. So we're going to set that panel aside for a moment and then prep the flap closure, which will be attached to the front of the remaining exterior body panel. And so that flap closure is crafted from 2 pieces of cotton fabric which measure 2.5 inches wide by 8.5 inches long. One of them is backed with the Pellon iron-on interfacing, and then one of them is just the cotton. And so you're going to layer those 2 pieces of material right sides facing, and then stitch down just the long edges using that same 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. And then you're going to go ahead and turn that strap right side out. If you have a turning tool, you're welcome to use that. If not, this is wide enough that you can probably handle turning that with your fingers. And then once you get that turned right side out, go ahead and press that nice and flat, and then top stitch down both of the long edges to finish that. And then you're going to position this strap 4 inches from the top of that front exterior body panel. And so that's what that looks like. So on the front you have this strap, which is going to hold the flap closure in place. And then on the rear body panel you have the slip pocket. So now you're going to position the front and the rear panels right sides facing. Go ahead and take your time and make sure that that pocket is laying nice and flat and nothing shifts. And then just like the interior, we're going to stitch down the sides and across the base using that 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. And then once you've stitched, go ahead and trim up that excess. I come in about 1/4 inch from that stitch line. And then reach inside and remove any of the pins that you have in place. And then you can go ahead and turn this right side out and give it a good press. And this is what it looks like after you have pressed. So you have your slip pocket on the back there, and then your strap to hold the flap closed. I did take that top edge and I folded it inward about 3/4 of an inch and gave that a good press. And then we've already prepared the lining, and you're just going to fit that right inside of this finished exterior. And I like to begin by lining up those side seams. And then once I have the side seams aligned, then I can pull that nice and tight and align at the center, front and back. If your seam allowances were consistent, you should have a fairly good fit with this. If your interior is slightly larger, you can push that excess fabric to the sides and it will generally be fine. If you have a substantial difference, then you may want to remove that interior and take in that seam allowance a bit. And so now we just need to craft the flap closure. And so this flap measures 7.5 inches across by 9 inches tall. And one piece of that is backed with the pellon. I did have to fuse 2 pieces to have enough here. Our shops are still not open yet, so I am having difficulties getting supplies, but that hopefully will be changing in the next couple weeks. So as a result of that seam there, I'm just going to go ahead and run an accent row of stitching across that flap. You can add the accent if you like. I just wanted to explain to you why my flap will have that accent, because I just want to make sure that that seam stays put. Okay, so I have one of those flaps lined with the pellon, and then one is unlined, just the cotton fabric. And so I'm going to position those right sides facing, and then same thing, stitch down the sides and across the base. And then once you've done that, go ahead and trim that up to about 1/4 inch from that seam. And then turn this right side out and press it nice and flat. And that's what that looks like after you press. And then pick your favorite side, and that'll be the front of your flap. You're going to go ahead and top stitch around the sides and the base to finish that. And that's what that flap looks like finished. So go ahead and slip your flap down in between that handle and that front body panel, and you're going to have approximately 2 inches remaining at the top. And so just remove those pins towards the back there, and you're going to tuck the raw edges of that flap in between the interior and the exterior layers. Then you just carefully go ahead and open up that flap so that you can pin that flap in place, and you're pinning through the exterior, the flap, and the interior of that. You don't want to capture the front of that at all. And so that's what that looks like. So this front part here, you keep that out of those pins, and all you should have is just that rear exterior, the flap, and the rear interior. And then just test everything and make sure it's nice and even and sits well. And then you're going to go ahead and remove your machine deck and stitch all the way around the perimeter of that to secure the interior, the flap, and the exterior. And I like to begin at that side seam, and you just move really slowly, going all the way around, keeping everything nice and aligned. And then that's what it looks like. It's so cute and totally functional. My first name for this was the Pattern Keeper because it does look like it would hold a paper pattern just perfectly. There are obviously tons of uses for this. If you have grandchildren or young children still in diapers in your life, this makes a wonderful diaper caddy. It can hold a package of wipes and a few disposable diapers. You could use this as a small project organizer. I'm really excited to hear how you all would like to adapt this design. A few ideas for you. We could add a clear vinyl pocket to the back. We could add a strap, a little short wristlet strap, or we could add a long crossbody strap. This would make an adorable little messenger bag as well. We can make it a little larger and add some depth to this. Those are just a few of the possibilities. I'll post the community poll on Wednesday as mentioned. There's always that other category. You're welcome to make a suggestion, and then we'll meet on Thursday and I will show you how to make one of those variations to this basic fabric envelope. Before I let you go, I just want to give you the finished measurements on this project. We're coming in right about 7 3/4 inches across and about 10 inches tall. So it's a really nice size. I personally would like to have about a dozen of these in a basket. I think that would just be a really awesome organization system. I thank you for joining me. And as always, be well and so happy, my sweet friends.